We're starting to get bits and pieces into place. I mean, right now we're waiting for the NCAA to come down and the Big 12 conference to come down and tell us what they're doing with winter sports. We're going to be virtual all fall. We've got a couple meets lined up, and we're doing a couple things inside the Big 12 conference. We started a head coach's conversation a week ago. We're going to meet every couple weeks, and there's a virtual format that we're looking at, and we're just trying to, get some things in place for the kids so that if we do have a season that starts in January, which is probably most likely when it's going to start, that we've gotten some racing under our belt before then.
So when you say that virtual format, what does that kind of look like?
Well, there's a wide variety of things you can do. You can do a dual meet. What we're looking at doing in the Big 12 conference is a series of events each week. You get a couple days to get those done, and then we'll submit the times to each other and kind of rank our kids that way. Without having the opportunity to have any dual meets, it's important to have the kids be able to see how they're doing, at least inside the Big 12 conference. And then how it'll actually run is pretty much just like a regular practice. It'll be at our own facility. We'll set a time and do a pre-meet warm up and all the normal things, and then we'll get up and race and go from there. I would anticipate those will start in the middle of October.
How much does that change kind of the mindset going into something like that, where when you have a dual meet, you're racing against obviously people in the pool. Now you're kind of racing against other people, but it's kind of against the clock and they're in another state.
Right. Well, we don't know. We haven't done it before, so it'll be interesting to see how the kids respond to that. I think it does give us an opportunity to really focus in on some of the things that we want to do without the distraction of trying to race somebody else. But obviously, you want to be able to race and do those things at the same time. So, right now, it's difficult for all sports and specifically anybody or any sport that doesn't know what they're doing. And that's where we are. We don't know what we're doing, so we're just trying to put some things in place instead of just training. Now, it's really great that we're back in the water and on the boards. A little bit of normalcy for these kids, but at the end of the day, we love to compete.
How much has changed with your practices with everything that's going on?
Quite a bit. We had to do extensive testing to get back in the water. Kids started coming back on campus. We delayed the first day of class by a week, so that actually helped us a little bit to get our kids through the COVID testing and all that stuff. And then we're so very fortunate to have the new facility because we're still able to train as a full team at the same time. We are going long course in the mornings, and we're in lanes by roommates. You're in a lane, and then of course we've got people social distanced all across. And then in the afternoon, we're doing extensive dry land right now. And we're really doing the same philosophy that we did over the summer with the group that stayed here over the summer. And we're just going to build them up slowly. We've had kids that were able to train every day, and then we've had kids that haven't been in the water for a good amount of time, and then there's kids that were able to train sporadically. So we're really kind of taking a slow, gradual approach in the mornings in the water. And as we get to full practices in the morning, then we'll start adding some time in the afternoon. But right now we're practicing every morning, and then 3 days a week in the afternoon we're doing dry land, and then on Saturday. So it's changed, just in the sense that we're not training in our groups, but we're in the water together.
Did you see a little bit of a kind of a learning curve, I guess you could call it, when everybody came back, kind of a different summer than what you're used to, people kind of being away from it a little more than maybe usual?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about in our group meetings our team meetings over the summer was, the unique thing about what's going on with COVID in the team is normally when we come back, you have a few different groups. You have the people that, trained over the summertime. You have the people that took some time off either for internships or things of that nature, and you're trying to blend that all together. And with this, we've just made a decision that we're starting everybody from ground zero. And, doesn't matter if you were with us over the summer and got to train for 2.5 months, or if you didn't get to train. We're just going to take it slow and work together as a group and as a team and as we develop. Now, I'm sure as we get a little bit further along and we're able to break up into our groups, we'll have some variety going on there, and we're hoping that can happen towards the end of September. But right now we're just going, everybody together, taking it slow, working on some aerobic capacity, working on some stroke stuff, and then really getting after it in the dry lands in the afternoon.
So obviously, COVID has presented a lot of changes, but another big change is obviously the new member of the swimming and diving family. Talk a little bit about our new head diving coach, Carla.
Yeah, so obviously it was, again, sad to see Mike go, and he's done so much for the program, and we were really blessed. There was a good quality of pool of candidates that applied for the position, and Carla really stood out as we went through the process with her, and her philosophy, not only in coaching diving, but her philosophy of the whole student athlete's well-being really stood out for me. And she started last week, and we're really excited to have her on the deck, and I just think it's going to be a great addition to our program.
Kind of rewinding to back last season a little bit, we had a lot of big things happen last season. Obviously, it came to a quicker end than we had expected.
Sure.
But how did all the things, obviously the new pool, hosting Big 12s, hosting zones, how does that kind of build momentum to go into this season for us?
A lot. I mean, again, what I referred to earlier, just the fact if we were in our old facility, we'd be on the deck 10 hours a day trying to figure out how to get kids into practice, and probably wouldn't be able to have the kids training every day. So just from the facility standpoint alone has been a huge benefit for the program. But absolutely the momentum of hosting Big 12s, and then hosting zones, having 4 NCAA qualifiers on the men's side. Obviously, that was a disappointment when it changed, but they still earned the right to get there and have that opportunity to be recognized as NCAA qualifiers. I think we're a step closer into our relays. I think we've got a really good opportunity to get some kids. Again, we don't really know what that outlook or that layout looks like for us right now in regards to NCAAs. And so, what we've talked about is coming out of COVID, better individuals, better teammates, and a better team. And so as we continue through this process, I think ultimately we're going to have those kids requalify for NCAAs and have some join them. But we got to know how to get there first, and we're waiting for that. And once we have that, right now I'm doing some individual meetings with the team, and I'm normally they're goal meetings, but we don't have a season in front of us right now. So they're really just kind of touching base meetings to sit down, really to kind of outline what we're doing for the next 3 to 5 weeks in the water and in our dry land. And then once we do know what we're doing season-wise, then we'll start figuring out what we need to do to get kids to perform and excel at Big 12s and NCAAs.